In previous videos, we've created an Android app with AppInventor where we can add a keyboard shortcut and then we can show a shortcut. The only trick is it only shows one shortcut at random, as you see here. In this video, we're going to use iteration and actually show all of the shortcuts. So let's take a look. When button 1 click, button 1 is the button that we click after we've entered a shortcut into the keyboard. So for example, Control X will cut. So we'll cut text, something like that. Add shortcut. It's calling this handler here. You see a little saved notification came up. So add item to the list, show the saved alert, change the screen's background color to green, and then reset the text to empty, which is just going to show the hint or the label for this text area here. Now, show all shortcuts, right now it's only showing one at random. That's this button handler here. So what we want to do, instead of just showing one alert, we want to show all of the shortcuts. So I'm going to go to Control, and what I want is a for each, because for each is really ideal for iterating over a known set of values. So I'm going to grab this for each, and for each item in list. Okay, what's our list? Well, our list is this global variable called shortcuts. So I'm going to grab get global shortcuts and I'm going to snap it down here. Okay, so shortcuts is a collection of shortcuts. We're populating it in our first button handler, and now in our second button handler, where we want to show the shortcuts, we're going to iterate over this collection of global shortcuts. For each item in list, get global shortcuts. Okay, now I'm going to borrow what we've already made. Call notifier show alert. We know that what this will do is this will bring up one of those alerts. I'll demonstrate just one more time. This will demonstrate an alert like Control V to paste. Okay, this will bring up a little alert like we see here, as we call it a toast in Android. So we can reuse that. The only thing is we don't want to pick a random item anymore. I'm just simply going to drag this part and put it within our iteration structure. So remember, iteration means we do the same operation numerous times. This is where we're doing that operation. Okay, the operation is to show an alert. Now, where do we want to show an alert? Well, we said we don't want a random item anymore. I'm going to just delete this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, whoops, I just had it there, just a moment, get item. Okay, what in the world did I just do? Well, okay, if we look at the kind of tan-colored handler here, this is our loop, this is our iteration. It's iterating over the collection called shortcuts. Every time it loops, it pulls one shortcut out, and it puts it into a variable called item. That's what we're going to call our iteration variable, because each time we iterate, this variable called item will hold the next shortcut, the next keyboard shortcut, that's in this collection of keyboard shortcuts. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say for each keyboard shortcut, call the notifier and show an alert, and the alert is going to be whatever the current iteration variable is. Okay, now notice this has a little indentation here and a notch here, or as I call it, a dimple and a notch. That means that this guy has to be called to execute. And right now he's kind of sitting out in no man's land. Nothing is calling him. We need to put this guy in an event handler of some kind or some kind of call. Otherwise, it's never going to run because you see there's nothing that's kind of going into the little dimple here. So let's take this and let's drop it into our button 2 handler. And at this point, I think we're in good shape. So I'm going to deploy to the emulator and we'll see how it works. I paused the video for a moment. I deployed to the emulator. And I've entered a few shortcuts already in the system. I have probably about 4 in that I did off camera. Let me add one more. I'm going to say Alt-Tab, changes, program, changes, well, we should say the active program. The active program in Windows. Something like that. Add shortcut. Okay, now show all shortcuts. When we take a look at this, look very carefully down here where the notifications appear. What we're going to see is that every notification is going to show for a few moments. So show all shortcuts, Control C, We'll give it a moment. This is a long toast. Control V. I think I have another Control V in here. Control X will cut. Control V to paste. And finally, the one we just added, Alt Tab changes the active program in Windows. If I add another one, we'll see that if I said something like Windows D to show desktop, add, and then show all shortcuts, what we'll see is it will iterate over all of the shortcuts that we have up to and including the one that we just entered. Control V, Control X will cut. Then I think we have Control V again. And then we have the Alt Tab. And then finally we have the one that we just added, the Windows D to show desktop. So iteration means we are doing the same activity to a collection of items, or we're doing the same activity a certain number of times, but it's the same logic applied a certain number of times. In this case, we are applying that same activity or that same logic over every keyboard shortcut that we've entered into our program. And that's the definition of iteration. Thank you.